Hello, everybody. It's Jackie here. How are you? Um, how you doing? I am a couple minutes later than I thought that I was going to be, but I did have a little bit of trouble getting all my little frames and bits and pieces working to be able to go live. Something's going on. So here we are. The reason why I'm here is because if you are not familiar with me or my process coming in at the beginning of every single month. My name's Jacquie McIntyre, and I have the beautiful My Incredible Orbit Academy, and we discuss really cool things every single month. We dive into very specific topics, and we not only explore them quite deeply, but we also, or I do, facilitate healing sessions around that concept, and we do it as a group in a group matrix situation where we're using consciousness-based healing modalities to be able to really effectively address the individuals in the group and the entire group matrix at a entire body mind complex level. And it just works beautifully, and because it's in a group environment, when you get people coming together into a group environment and they're sharing in that same morphinogenic field, it seems to amplify the ability for people to be able to heal and shift through things that perhaps it would be a little bit tougher or maybe a longer process to do on your own. Not to say that you couldn't do it on your own, but we know that anything, when you do it in a supportive, caring, safe, loving environment is going to compound the goodness and the healing that comes from that. So at the beginning of every single month, I come in and just introduce what our series of sessions are and what the topic is that we're focusing on. All of the members have already had an email come out to you to let you know the rough overview that we're looking at and the dates that we're doing all these sessions and the debrief that we're going to get together and do at the end of the month to not only discuss anything that came up in this series of sessions or surrounding the topic, but we can chat about anything at all. So if you are not part of the My Incredible Orbit community, you maybe think that that return journey itself and the ability to be able to heal through whatever it is that you're sitting with or you feel like is holding you back, then pop on over to the website and you can check out the further details on that and then choose whether it is right for you, because it is not right for everybody, but it is right for a lot of people. Now, the healing system that we use is called the Bodytalk System. It is a totally integrative healthcare system, and it is non-invasive. So not only is it super effective, but it's not going to send you into a healing crisis or do anything bad to you. And that's why I fell into it, because it was so nurturing and so effective and just gets the job done. And I've been doing that for 16, 17 years now. The series of sessions that we're going to be doing for the month of November is focusing around the topic of authenticity. And I'm really only going to touch on some of the kind of my most basic concepts that might come up as this series of sessions progresses. We do 3 sessions because I feel like I say this nearly every month, but it's true. This is a really huge topic, and our disassociation with our authenticity begins really soon after birth. Not only that, but we are born and then carry genetic information and hereditary information from these parents of ours that also have gone through really significant lifetime experiences of being disassociated from their authenticity. And I don't think we realize that we bring in fragments, very strong fragments of that information. So already when we are born, we're not born a clean slate. We're not born with no information, right? We are a mixture of many different things that we bring in with us, and this is just one of those. We bring in the information that's really held at a deep kind of cellular genetic level, and even at a consciousness level, that uh, tells us, it already kind of sets a scene for what authenticity is. And there's a lot of lip service that's given to the word authenticity, and it's talked about a lot. But it is very rare that a person truly, truly understands to the core of their being what authenticity truly is for them, and then what authenticity means for somebody else. Because part of being authentic is that you authentically recognize someone's own authenticity, and you're fully okay with that. You're fully at peace with them showing up authentically, however that needs to be, regardless of whether they maybe show up authentically in ways that is not yours. It's not authentically the way that you would show up. You would not say that. That's not your opinion about that. Part of that journey in really settling into becoming your most authentic self is being 100% okay with who you are, and not altering or manipulating that when you go into different environments or different situations with different people. Because when you do that, we tend to put on a mask. It's quite often a very subconscious thing that happens. We have lots of different masks. You might have the mask of the teacher, or the mask of the smart person, or the mask of the mother, or mask of the father, or mask of the doer, the adapter, the person that climbs mountains, the assertive one. There's lots and lots of masks, right, that we shift into very subconsciously, that we then show the world. And that's totally driven by belief systems. So we might have a belief system that says, in order for me to feel safe, I need to show up in this way. And so then I present this mask. So that's not authenticity, but I understand that as human beings, we are showing up and doing our best at each step of the way that we possibly can. A lot of us are. So this journey to authenticity, gosh, it's a ride, right? And it's a cool ride. It's a wild ride. And if we can really lean into it and accept it as being a pretty cool ride, then that journey will be so much easier, so much easier. So if we can jump back to that idea that when we are conceived and then we get birthed into this earthly experience, that we are preloaded with information that comes back through from our genetics. And all those people back there have had their experiences of how they've been taught, conditioned, and believed, how they've believed of, let me rephrase that, how they've been taught and conditioned to not be authentic, and how they've believed in authenticity. Because majority of our belief systems around authenticity are quite screwed. Like if I was to, and I've had this conversation with so many people over the years when it's come up in their sessions, what's authenticity mean to you? What do you think it really is? Everybody will give me very different perspectives of that. And sometimes they are worlds apart, and they're not centered around authenticity. Sometimes our viewpoints or our feelings around authenticity, they've been so corrupted throughout life that we can have beliefs that say authenticity means I'm accepted. Authenticity means that I'm liked. Authenticity means that I'm happy. Authenticity means that I show that I'm happy to the world. Authenticity means that I have a high vibe, or I have a high spirit, and people really pick that up, right? Authenticity means that I say the right things at the right time, so that people can meet me and then they walk away and say, gosh, she seems really authentic. right? And I think a lot of people have had experiences, and it's interesting this is popping in for me right now because I'm currently in the process of finalizing a course that's going to be going into the My Incredible Orbit Academy called The Mask of the Narcissist. And it's really the exploration of a person's journey when they come into this lifetime experience as a narcissist and what that looks like and what your experience from that would look like. And the reason why I bring that up is because even the person who's wearing the mask of the narcissist, they are very, very, very good at showing up and manipulating their words and their behavior and their body language to give a perception of authenticity. And that is quite often how so many people get wound up into that entanglement with a narcissist, is because when you don't understand truly what authenticity is, then your skewed perceptions of authenticity are going to show up with people like this. And you're going to see these behaviors and hear these words, and you're going to watch their actions. And quite often you're going to think, gosh, they seemed really authentic. What a nice person. Yeah. And they'll have a nice high vibe and they'll give you praise. And so quite often you end up connected or in a relationship of some kind, whether it be through friendship or otherwise, with a NPD person who is giving this illusion of authenticity. And it is the absolute paradox. It's the opposite of authenticity. It's inauthenticity. So quite often our experiences can get really skewed and can completely pull apart what true authenticity is. So we get to the point as human beings where we don't really understand what it is. We don't truly understand what that looks like in another human being, so that we can gravitate towards that and join up with authenticity. We don't know what it is, so that when we see it, we can learn from it, and that we can match its likeness and we can become authentic ourselves. So for me personally, authenticity is where you have wholly and completely met yourself in such a loving and respectful way that the only thing you feel you need to do or be is you. That's it. No matter where you are, who you're with, what the topic of conversation is, what direction that conversation's going, who's present, you are just beautifully you. That's it. Authentically you. And when we really are living and expressing via the heart brain and the gut brain, some will say that we are, especially from the heart brain, some people will say we are from the heart. We're expressing from the heart, but we're living from the heart, but we're not from the heart. We're actually of the heart. We're of the heart. And it's the same with authenticity. When you have been seated in authenticity, you're not coming from authenticity. You are of authenticity. And it is not something that it's just like boundaries. It's just like boundaries. It's not something that you're going to master overnight. It is a journey, because the fragmentation of authenticity is such that it is a long journey. The belief systems surrounding it, not just that you have adopted throughout your lifetime, but there are so many belief systems that corrupt the true consciousness of authenticity from the collective consciousness, that it makes it a really tough journey for some people to get to authenticity. when you, as I said before, when you can lean into it and really enjoy the ride, like just suck the most out of life and out of your human experience that you possibly can, then this journey into authenticity just becomes fun, becomes so much fun. And you take yourself so much less seriously than what you used to. And that is part of the ride into true authenticity, is just taking yourself less serious and not beating yourself up, and understanding that it is absolutely the journey, right? So we are coming from the space of authenticity. When we are born and we have that, the mind starts to conceptualize you and me, what's out there, what's within me. The mind starts to build what we call a separation of consciousness. The second view is when self is your wholeness and you are, of the heart, or of authenticity. So this is a more balanced and more authentic understanding that you have of yourself. Hence, then the body mind complex becomes more balanced and more peaceful. So, we're not looking for the mind to become really rigid in believing that we are separate from everything, but rather than understanding that we are connected and of everything. There is a wholeness that exists between yourself and everything around you. And that also really helps in the journey to authenticity. And I tell you what, I'm really compassionately understanding and seeing that a lot of people are really struggling with authenticity right now and how to stay authentic, because there's this entire global shift and journey that we're going through that is pushing people to not be that. And it can really have you swaying from side to side, feeling like you're on a little boat in a very big, ocean that's going through big currents and big storms and so forth like that. So that's why I think this group healing work is so profound, because when you can tap into a group consciousness and you come into it with the same objective, which is for this month authenticity, then holy cow, can it just shift your entire global perspective and your experience of yourself, and then your experience of the whole world around you. Ultimately, our objective is to balance any areas or any parts of your body mind complex, your history, your whatever it is, that prevents you from being your most authentic version that you can be. So everything around you from a really young age told you not to be your authentic self. People around you, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people did not consciously do this. Spoken to a lot of people over the years, and a lot of people who realized that they told people to do things, especially when they were young kids, or stopped people from doing things when they realized that they were stopping people from being authentic or trying to have an authentic expression. It really kind of stops them in their tracks and realizes what they were doing to that person. You're telling that person, that's not okay. Don't do that. I don't like that. You're making me uncomfortable. Don't be sad. Don't be angry. Don't experience that, emotion, that energy and motion. Don't do that. Don't stand up for yourself. Don't speak out. Don't speak clearly. Don't speak your truth. Don't speak your mind. Don't have an opinion. So it's all done in tiny little ways right since young childhood. And if you think about all those, it would be hundreds and thousands, if not millions of experiences, although they're tiny little ones, they're all led to this big story that says you can't be authentic. And we're saying, oh, hell yeah, we can be authentic. Authenticity is my superpower. I'm going to step into that. I want to own that. I want to do that. I want to become that. So not only that, but then you've had people around you your whole life that are constantly presented multiple versions of themselves through those masks, through their mistaken understanding of what authenticity is, or how to not be authentic because it gets you in trouble or people don't like it. Or I've had several clients over the years think that authenticity makes you look vain, or authenticity means you're a smart ass, or authenticity, people don't like that. You won't have many friends if you're going to show up like that. So there is so many really interesting, rigid beliefs that sit deeply in the mind, subconsciously, at the very least, um, that show up every single day in some way or another that you wouldn't even be aware of. The way that you would see it is you would see it in your sabotages, you would see it in what scares you, you would see it in your behaviors, in your habits, your patterns, the things that you trigger to. That's where those belief systems would be echoing and projecting from, and you just get to see it in those other ways. It really takes some very specified, sophisticated work to actually get to the true meaning, the true belief system. And there'll be quite a few belief systems on why it's not safe to be authentic, or why you can't be authentic, or why authenticity is bad. And we need to find those. We need to know what they are, and we need to uncover them. And we need to go through a process of unbecoming those belief systems, because we don't need them anymore. We're really getting to this time in our evolution where we're kind of being compelled to find them so that we can drop them in a lot of different ways, yeah? Remembering that these masks are a way for people and ourselves to hide behind and separate themselves, not only from themselves, but then separate themselves from the world. So quite often those masks are built around safety and security, the idea of being safe and secure. Most of the masks are connected to these big core belief systems subconsciously. So these belief systems will be, and these belief systems are quite often connected to experiences, major events, traumas, family stuff, things that you're seeing out in society, taking in through the TV and whatever else, or how it comes in from a sensory perspective. So these belief systems will constantly be telling stories to your body mind complex about how it is safe to wear this mask that blocks authenticity, because that mask is just there apparently to keep us being safe. It doesn't keep us safe. It keeps us stagnant, and it keeps us in a process of very little growth, and we just do not transcend our limiting belief systems from that perspective, right? Knowing that when you step into authenticity, that is freedom. That is pure love, that is pure acceptance, that is just pure joy, that is the feeling of being grounded and anchored to your values and your core and your purpose and your identity, and feeling deeply compassionate to the world around you. That's kind of the experience of authenticity. So why wouldn't we want to move towards that instead of staying behind those masks, which do not keep us safe? They bring about more pain, they bring about more suffering, we know this, but this is the illusion of these belief systems, right? So it thinks that they're crucial for safety and survival. And that in itself becomes a massive belief. Authenticity is this, and I need to have the mask because it keeps me safe. Thank you very much. I'm going to shut that down, right? There is freedom in authenticity. And also the ability to be able to effortlessly attract and manifest what you need to come to you that is of your highest good. You need it right now, or it is one of your goals, or you are trying to, manifest it. So this process of stepping into authenticity not only brings you freedom, it brings you love, it brings you peace, but it also brings you just amazing manifestation where you start attracting to you just the most incredible people and experiences and things in life. So, this is what we're doing this month, November 2021, in my incredible orbit. Hello, Christine. How are you? And if you would like to join us in the Academy, if you're not in there right now, you can go check it out on my website. I'll put the details down below. And if you have any questions about it, you're welcome to email the office at info@jacquiemcintyre.com, but I'll also put those details below. All right. Have a splendid rest of your day, no matter where you are in the world, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.